Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Infamous Idiots podcast. My name is Marco,
I'm Richard.
and we are the Infamous Idiots.
If you guys
Today,
I was gonna say,
Why
if you're
you-
new here, subscribe.
yeah, what he said.
Yeah, you didn't say
If you're
subscribe.
new here, subscribe, like, and subscribe. Press that button. Just gotta press it, tease it.
Smash it.
Maybe don't be too aggressive with it. Be gentle with it.
Mm.
Oh man, today I wanted to talk about one of the all-time great Batman stories, just because I've been obsessing over it. I love it. I have a piece of it tattooed on me. I have a whole quote from.
Well, what's the quote?
It is a long quote. You want me to read the quote?
You know what? Verse by verse?
I do not. You think I would, but I do not. It is. We're also talking about The Dark Knight Returns, if you didn't know. The Dark Knight Returns is a Batman story taking place in the future. Sorry about that, y'all. I feel like I should grab my phone now because I kind of want to read the quote. I feel like I have to read the quote now.
Okay. I thought he just knew it. That's why I was like, oh, say the quote. You have a tattoo on your body. You should know the quote.
It's a little. I don't want to say it's a little long, but the whole it does span like 3 pages. The text. Yeah, man. So you want to talk about your history with The Dark Knight Returns? I think you have a funny history. So my history
with the Dark Knight Returns was, he's definitely a bigger DC fan than I am. I lean more Marvel. But the first time I ever found out about it was on our prom night. So after our prom was over, we went back to a friend's house, and we got the most wasted I think I've ever been in my entire life. I blacked out. I definitely blacked out on the bathroom floor. I was throwing up a lot, and it was just a journey. Yeah. Right? Like I drink so much. That was my first time, real time getting drunk.
We haven't drank Fireball since.
Yeah, Fireball, I can never drink it again. Nope. It's just, it makes me, even think about it, makes me feel a little nauseous. But anyways, that morning when I woke up to them watching Batman Returns, and I was like, what is this? Oh. Because it was loud. I remember like the dog was chewing on a chew toy and it was squeaking, and he was like right next to me. I was like, shut the fuck up. I was like, Jesus. But, like I was just like sitting there, how you are after a hangover, and you're just like, oh my God, I feel terrible. And I just started watching this, and I was like, oh, this is kind of soothing. And we watched part 1 and part 2, and it was awesome. Yeah. I never watched it before. And I think it stands out to me because it's so memorable, because I had such a shitty night, but I had such a good morning. Like I literally had to walk home in all my prom suit and everything. Like where we were at that time, we were very far.
Yeah.
Like it was not. We were not like, oh, it's next door. Like I walked like fucking. I remember I walked past someone actually from that we were at prom with as well.
Really?
Not someone that we knew that was in our group, but someone else that I knew that was in that.
Didn't we go to Panda, or was that just me?
I think that was just you, because I went home because I had to go home.
Yeah, nobody was home. My mom was at work, but I was like, I need food. And I got some Panda, and I ran into someone that went to prom. They're like, why are you still in your prom clothes?
You're like, this is the walk of shame, dude.
I was like, dude, I just don't feel.
Yeah, I remember I walked home.
Dude.
I walked straight home because this is the time where I had like no money or anything.
Yeah.
So it's like I have to walk like a mile and a half to get home. Just hungover. It's fucking hot outside. I had my whole prom suit on. I was like,
You're like, I still gotta return this.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I rented it.
It was terrible. But that's how that morning, that first half of the morning was so memorable, because we watched The Dark Knight Returns. I was like, this is awesome. I was like, how have I never found out about this?
Yeah, I read the original graphic novel when I was gone for those couple months, and yeah, man, I remember reading it front to back and just being like, this is so awesome. Like, I get why people talk about it all the time, and I remember that first issue. Because I read the graphic novel version, but its issues are divided, right?
Okay.
Like chapters, and that first chapter, like I said, that's what I have tattooed on me, and it's the one where he's kind of like looking at the crime, and he's kind of like fighting the urge to be Batman. You can tell he's miserable without not being Batman, and just the art really hit hard too. And then he kind of just in this like in that moment where he snaps, a bat breaks through his window again. Almost like being like, you can't ever escape me. And that's essentially what I have tattooed on me. And it's the time has come, you know it in your soul, for I am your soul. You cannot escape me. You are puny. You are small. You are nothing. a hollow shell, a rusty trap that cannot hold me. Smoldering, I burn you. Burning you, I flare hot and bright and fierce and beautiful. You cannot stop me with you cannot stop me with wine or vows or the weight of age. You cannot stop me, but still you try. Still you run. You try to drown me out, but your voice is weak. And this is like Batman as if he was narrating Bruce like, dude, stop fighting it. Like stop. You are me. Like, you know.
Yeah.
And that I remember just that hitting so hard. And like I said, that graphic novel means a lot to me for that period in time. So I was like, I want that tattooed on me. You know, so
it's a dope ass tattoo, and I like where I want to get a very similar placement, not necessarily a quote, but I want that placement. It's on your what shoulder is it on?
My left shoulder, my
it's
left
on his left back shoulder.
Yeah,
I've always liked that area, just like having a tattoo there. Same with like singular piece tattoos, like I've always enjoyed those, like and the aesthetic, the way that it looks.
And this tattoo was probably the most comfortable I've ever been getting a tattoo because I was laying on my stomach,
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was really
was
cool.
it painful?
It kind of just irritated it after a little bit because I still need to get it touched up too.
Oh, so it needs to be touched up.
Yeah,
so
okay. It's gonna. I'm sure it'll be fine though.
Yeah.
I'm excited though. Once I finish that up, I kind of want to get another tattoo as well. But I want to before I get any other tattoo, I was like, I need to get that touched up again, so I can say it's complete and then call it good. But that kind of leads into my next topic. With us talking about DC, we don't give it enough love. I know you don't.
I definitely don't. It's Batman, and that's it for me. Really.
Yeah, basically, he doesn't understand that DC has such rich lore as well, and he's not really. We'll read like the. Most...
I mean, I know a lot of lore of Batman and the villains. Yeah, but like outside of that, like I've never been the biggest fan of Superman. Never been the biggest fan of the Flash, although I have more in recent years.
Wow, that's it's funny.
And more in recent years, but what I'm saying is like when I was growing up, like it was literally Batman and Justice League.
No, I get what you're saying because I wasn't the biggest Superman either.
I know that, dude. I did the same thing. I was like, why is there an ice cream truck? I don't know. We get triggered. Yeah. Watch the previous episode.
Yeah, it was very traumatizing. I'm like, oh, God. Because also there's a graphic novel where there's an ice cream truck killer.
Really?
Yeah.
That's like the ice truck killer.
Yeah. Shout out Dexter.
Yeah, Dexter.
I feel like it's just getting louder.
Yeah, it is good.
Okay.
Got their kids. That's why they stopped.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Anyways, let's move into our top 5 projects we would like.
No, well, I wanted to start off first, like with where the DCU is headed. Do you have okay. Like your most anticipated project from DC? I wanted to give an honorable mention to Creature Commandos. I love obscure characters like that. I like the idea of having like a monster team set in World War II. I just think that's really fun, and I'm really excited to see where that animated show goes. I hope it's TVMA. I hope they don't hold back. I think that'd be awesome. But that's my honorable mention. I think my other honorable mention, I have a couple others, but I think that's my main one. But the most anticipated for me is Superman Legacy. Because as I've grown up, as I've gotten older, as I've learned more about comics and its lore, I've become a really huge Superman fan and what he stands for. I definitely understand the appeal to an evil Superman, but I also think Man of Steel really made me a Superman fan. Yep. I was not a Superman fan before, so you can say whatever you want about Man of Steel as a Superman movie, but it converted people like me into fans and what he stands for. I think another good interpretation of Superman is Superman and Lois, a very hopeful Superman, one that's a father, and I am excited to see where James Gunn takes this. I think he can do a really good job, and I think in this day and age we need a hopeful superhero. I think that the term that Superman is outdated as a hero is ridiculous. I think we need Superman more than ever now. We need someone who is good for the sake of being good. One of the things about Superman is like he was raised by good people. That's why he's this honorable guy. That's why there's that panel in All-Star Superman where there's this girl that wants to jump off a bridge, and instead of waiting till she jumps off to save her, he flies down and talks to her and tells her everything is going to be okay. And that's Superman. That's what we need in this day and age. Yeah. So, I'm hyped for that. So. What about yours? Do you have an honorable mention to begin with? That you're like, I think I heard you say the Lantern show really intrigued you.
Yeah, the Lantern. I think Green Lantern in general is just. I mean, obviously that one iteration with Ryan Reynolds wasn't the best. Because like I said, growing up, it was literally Batman and Justice League, and Green Lantern was in there, and he was one of the characters I thought was really cool because he would be able to make any object that he really wanted from his mind, and I always thought that was a really cool concept. And I just think, obviously, they just didn't execute the best way possible.
Yeah.
And I would like a telling, or not a retelling, but just a better interpretation of the character itself, because I think it's a cool idea, and I would actually like the character more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I totally agree with you. Superman Legacy is definitely the one. I'm one of those where Man of Steel is what made me like Superman more, because I'm even now I'm still not like, I really like Superman, but that one is the one where I'm like, this is the Superman that I've always wanted, smashing through buildings, destruction. I know, but like beating the shit and having like superhuman like a war. You know what I mean? Like I always liked that aspect, and Zod in that movie was just such a good counterpart to him. Just on the acting and just the physicality, like he was truly menacing.
Oh yeah,
So,
I love.
I'm excited
as Zod.
Yeah, I'm excited for Legacy. I trust James Gunn. I know we had our gripes with the Superman suit and the underpanties, but besides that,
the red panties.
Yeah, the red panties.
The red panties.
Other than that, I'm actually pretty excited. I like the villain that they're going with, Brainiac. I think he's a very high, it's like very high stakes, and I think
I don't know if Brainiac is the villain, dude.
Well, I mean, I know that's
rumored.
I was gonna say that's what's rumored, because like I think that's a good way to go, because he was the one.
I think they should save him for a sequel. I hope Brainiac isn't the villain. I hope he's like teased in it throughout the story, and maybe like a little tease at the end.
Well,
from my understanding, I think it's going to be a Bizarro Superman. Oh. That's the rumors that I've heard, that Lex Luthor helped create a differing, like a counterpart.
I'm up for whatever.
Superman.
But
I trust James Gunn.
That's what it comes down to. I trust James Gunn. I'm gonna ride with him. You know what I mean? I like Suicide Squad.
And it's supposed to be an allegory of evil Superman, because you know how evil Superman's been so prevalent with Homelander, Omni-Man.
Yeah.
So I think that if you can tackle that in that way, I think that'd be really cool. And I've heard that's what they're going for.
Yeah,
and I'm excited.
I'm
all for it.
I'm up for it. The only reason why I thought it was Brainiac is just because of the set photo that was released, and it's like coming down from the sky.
I could be wrong. It could 100% be Brainiac.
Because wasn't he was in one of the games or something?
Injustice 2.
It was Injustice 2. Yeah,
he was the villain.
And he was like fucking super OP.
And you hate that. You hate that game.
I hate Injustice 2.
You just
Injustice
hate
1
any
is
arcade
better.
game. I do agree. I like Injustice 1
is better.
I still beat you at both.
I mean, barely sometimes.
Yeah,
if I play as the Leonardo, you are cooked. Like I don't know what it is when I get Leonardo in my hand.
Spam with him. Though.
No, I know. When I get Leonardo in my hand, I'm like, nah. I know combos.
All right, whatever.
I don't know how to play the game. But tell them about UFC 2.
No, hold on.
About that.
Hold on. We're stay
he doesn't want to go that route. Whenever it comes to him getting fucked up, he doesn't want to go that route.
Stay on topic.
Just know that I'm the UFC champion.
Okay, stay on topic. You like Superman Legacy and you're excited for it. But what was your actual most anticipated?
I would say it's Superman Legacy.
It is? Oh, yeah, I thought you said Brave and the Bold.
Oh, well, Brave and the Bold, but like that one just, at least to me, I haven't seen any set photos or anything of it like that. I'm excited for the concept.
But you can't pick mine.
But I'm excited. Well, I'm just saying that I'm more excited for like the concept and everything like that.
Okay.
Like that's where I was going. I was just more saying Superman Legacy is something that I know is the most recent. It's coming up. And like I said, I think there's a lot on stake for Superman Legacy.
Yeah, dude.
Or a lot on stake for Warner Brothers in general, I would say. So that's why I said that one's most anticipated. But most I'm looking forward to would definitely be Batman and the Bold.
Brave and the Bold?
Brave and the Bold.
Yeah, man. I'm really excited to see who they cast as Batman. I'm really excited to see who they cast as Damian, and what members of the Bat family are going to show up. Are they going to give my boy Red Hood some love?
A proper?
Yeah. Oh my God! Don't even get me started. It's so bad, bro. And it's nothing against the actor that played Red Hood in the Titan show, but that's not why you kill off the Joker in the first episode as well. That's the main reason he became Red Hood, is to kill the Joker, to get revenge on the Joker.
Yeah.
And he can't even do that. He's just kind of like a dude that likes getting high. And I don't like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I hope so. I hope so. That does kind of lead into the next topic of things we would like to see in the DCU. You know, and I compiled the list. I'm gonna go first. My number 5 is Batman Beyond. I think a Batman Beyond live action movie would be so good. I think in Blade Runner fashion with like actually Blade Runner's really fantastic. So that's really all I have to say, especially 2049. So is it 2049?
It's 2049.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. 2049.
There's comics that are in like 2059, but yeah.
And man, dude, I think that aesthetic can work so well. I would like to see much more organic suit, not something so clunky, because I know it is supposed to be armor.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, I would love to see that. I think an angsty teen Batman in the future, exploring where characters are now, where even the Justice League could be. You can explore a neo noir Gotham. I think the possibilities are absolutely endless, and maybe you could even give Michael Keaton a run back. You know, have him just play an older Batman, maybe not in the suit as much, and give him like a proper return, not like in the Flash. You know,
Yeah.
where it's all riding on him. Whereas in Batman Beyond, all the pressure would be, can you make a good Batman Beyond movie?
I mean, I'm in agreement with you. I would do a Batman Beyond, but I would do mine animated.
So that's your number 5?
Yeah, my number 5 would be Batman animated.
Okay. I don't hate that.
When I saw I was prior to the footage getting released, I was in full agreement. Like, let's say live action, let's see what that world looks like. But after seeing the live action, you know, test footage and stuff like that, and all the
you mean the animated test footage?
Yeah, and all the success from, you know, Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spideyverse, I just think that whole aesthetic in that world can look super vibrant, having the different colors and stuff like that. Maybe, and since it's in that like noir Blade Runner setting, you could have instruments of like, you know, drug use and stuff like that, and alter the world in a different way to where you see more colors and he sees the world. Maybe he gets like, I don't know, like infected by gas like from Scarecrow or something, and he's seeing this world in this super psychedelic kind of state. I think that'd be really cool, and something that you can only really achieve with like animation. And I think, just like I said, after seeing the test footage, I'm like, wow, that's actually something I would love, and I would love that route.
Yeah. The general consensus, just make a Batman Beyond movie.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Just
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to either one.
Either one.
Yeah.
Either one work. That's all we want. At number 4, I have I'd say comic book adaptation, but I would love to see it, and it is Kingdom Come. I think a Kingdom Come live action Justice League movie would be so cool. I think you could even go with new actors. I would prefer you go with new actors. You can get some, you know, you can get a lot of good actors to play an older Superman. You know, this is a different world, something akin to The Boys, where the superheroes of today aren't like the ones of yesterday, where like the yesterday ones cared about saving people, and these new ones care about their image and what they're gonna do if they're marketable. You have this whole world. They have a Justice League restaurant in there too that takes a huge place in the comic book as well that you could explore. Yeah. I think the possibilities are endless, honestly, and Kingdom Come is just one of those stories, again, that I hold dear to my heart because of when I read them, where I read them, and where I was at that point in my life. So, and plus, that's kind of like the same symbol that James Gunn is using in his Superman. So if he just kind of did a sequel further down the line, you know, that'd be cool. Honestly, I'd love to see that.
For me, on my number 4, I would do a Deathstroke TV show. I think this is a
one where he grooms someone.
I don't want that. That's what I was just gonna say. Is that after what animated series was that? Because that
it was the DCA animated Judas Contract movie.
Oh my god, the way they did him, because I like Deathstroke. I like the whole character. You know, him being like a
mercenary.
Mercenary.
That basically fucks with everyone.
Exactly, and he's super formidable. Like, he'll put you to the test. Yeah. And I just did not like the interpretation that they had for him. Like, he was a genuine creep. Like, when the parts came up where he's like grooming, I was like, why? Like, why is this
when he's
necessary?
Grooming Tara.
Yeah, I'm like, why is this
weird.
necessary to it? But I think a TV show would better explore basically his, like, essentially his day to day, like from mission to mission, and obviously you'd probably lead it towards like a grander thing you know, whether it's him or with another person.
Yeah.
But I think there's more.
Could
There's
be
so much
doing
to
hits.
explore.
Yeah,
that's
he
what I'm
could be
saying.
doing hits for certain
each
people.
mission, like each episode, is its own mission leading to maybe a broader thing that, you know, he can't necessarily agree with, and he becomes somewhat of an anti-hero. You know what I mean? Like he has to take down some organization, maybe.
I mean, dude, a Deathstroke prequel before Teen Titans, like, he could be, the series could take place pre Teen Titans, like Judas Contract, where he's getting information by doing hits, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that'd be really cool, actually.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be awesome.
I'm really open to really anything. I just think that whole concept.
Just make him not a creep.
Yeah, exactly. Make him not a creep, and I think he's a really good character you can explore further. So.
I agree, man. I would love to see that. My next project is kind of like what? It's kind of like okay, I didn't expect that, but it would be a Justice Society of America. You kind of saw them in the Black Adam movie, but I wouldn't want to do it modern day. I feel like a JSA movie set in World War II era, and you can kind of like, this is it's set in the DCU in this grand world of superheroes.
Yeah.
And you could have the first version of Flash, Jay Garrick, in there, the first Green Lantern, Alan Scott. But I think I would just have them be there, and Wonder Woman as well. But I would want the character that we follow be human. Like, we are that audience. So I think Wildcat is a deep cut character, essentially dresses like a Black Panther-esque character, but he's an ex-heavyweight professional boxer who becomes a vigilante. And I think having that human element in this grander world back in the day can make a really intriguing story, a more hopeful version of Watchmen, so to speak, you know, and kind of loving the DC universe and where it could lead, and kind of setting seeds on where it can go in present day. So I'd really like that personally.
Yeah. For me, my next step would be, I would do a Thomas Wayne. So this would be like the alternate universe. So essentially taking that Thomas Wayne that's from Flashpoint, but you get to be more in his own world. Seeing how that world's really like developed, and like where that Gotham is at that state, and where he is in terms of like the brutality and with the villains that he's dealing with, how he executes them and stuff like that.
So would you start from the beginning, like Bruce Wayne is killed?
Yeah, I would start, like, the first one would be an origin. Like, if, like, I would do it as like a limited series or a TV series, and have the first episode be like the origin, you know, the alternate origin, obviously. And then after that, you get the time jump, you know, maybe more of his like, I would do 2 different time jump, or maybe 3. I would do more like mid-30s, more mid-30s, and then do another time jump to when he's like more like how he is in Flashpoint, where he's very old and stuff like that, more like 50s.
Okay.
So it would be an older actor, obviously. Cast as I don't have anyone.
Dude, just get Jeffrey Dean Morgan back.
You know what? Actually, yeah,
get Negan
totally
back. Might as well. I think he'd be perfect. You could just dye his hair when he's younger, and then just have him have his regular hair.
Well, that's what I was saying, like late 30s, somewhere where he's still, you know, imposing. But now, once you do like early 50s, he's like, can I do this anymore? And have that
fucking had Flashpoint Batman casted so perfectly.
And if they did that and then lead it, and then have the series lead to where, like, you know, how you have a whole conclusion, and have Barry Allen show up, and that be like a cliffhanger from Flashpoint leading into Flashpoint, which I guess would be my next one. Yeah. So it'd be essentially, you know, you do a Thomas Wayne
proper Flashpoint setup.
Yeah, and then you do it, because you would obviously have it be a cliffhanger. You're like, whoa, what the? Really? Barry Allen just showed up, and then that leads into a Flashpoint, and then it's its home thing. So it'd be a limited series of 2 seasons.
That'd be awesome.
It'd be so fucking awesome.
What's your like history with like the Flashpoint storyline?
Flashpoint, the one that was made, I think in like 2012. That is like one of my favorite animated. I just never knew about that whole
arc.
Yeah, the whole arc, like Aquaman and
Wonder
Woman, you know, being at war, and that's what destroyed the world. I thought that is such a cool concept on why the world is the way that it is. That's so cool, and I think there's so many different storylines that you can do with an alternate universe. I mean, obviously it'd be very high budget, because I mean the world's fucked, but like I think there's just so many storylines and so many different paths and so many different characters that can be developed in a different way, that the stories are almost endless, because everything's alternate. It's been reversed.
Okay, so you've already casted a Thomas Wayne, and we already know. I'm assuming you'd probably cast the girl that played Maggie as the Joker, or would you want to cast someone else as the female Joker?
I'm not entirely sure, but I mean, it would be. I think it just the whole concept on its own would be super fucking dope.
Okay.
So
Who'd you cast as the Flash?
I know. I mean, obviously, they're all hypothetical, but the guy that played Arrow, I think, would be kind of a low key good Flash.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Really?
I think it'd be a low key good Flash.
Yeah, because I'd like to see.
Because it's also you got to think it's like it's alternate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it would make sense that he was in Arrow in
Wow.
the real universe.
That's a deep cut, man.
And now he's, the Flash in this universe.
Yeah.
And you could do that with maybe some other characters that you've liked that they could be different ones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I would just bring him into an alternate universe if that was just me, actually, as a Green Arrow. That's what I would do,
Okay. I mean, I'm totally fine with that.
But I think, who I think would be a pretty cool Flash? Glenn Powell.
Who's that?
It's the dude that everyone's kind of sweating right now. He's the dude from Twister.
Oh, that guy. Okay.
I think he'd be pretty good, Barry Allen. Because I'm just tired of seeing a nerdy Barry Allen. Because I'm used to a very adequate, like he can be cocky, Barry Allen. He knows his stuff. He's really good with his abilities. He's really creative.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that prefers Barry Allen over Wally West Flash. That's just me.
I agree with
personally.
you. I agree.
I like Wally as the Flash. I think he's a good number 2. I think he's what like Nightwing is to Batman, like the proper successor. Actually, no, I don't think Nightwing is the proper successor. That's a different conversation though. But yeah, that kind of does lead into my number 2 though, and that is Green Arrow and Black Canary movie. I think like a rom-com vigilante movie, superhero movie would be so awesome. I think like Mr. and Mrs. Smith meets like a Batman movie or like Bad Boys. Like it's I think that'd be really, really cool. They're very important. They're an important relationship to have in the comics, and I think it'd be really cool to translate that in live action. Maybe change up Green Arrow's mythos, have the island be a little more scary to be on, like an island where you're like, I don't think I would survive. I have the idea of making it something like Skull Island.
See, that's sick. I like
where
that.
like there's all these creatures and you're like, this dude survived on that for 5 years. That's insane. Because at the end of the day, Green Arrow is that survivor superhero. He will survive anything. And I think Black Canary getting to know the complicated man that she's fallen in love with, hearing about all the dumb shit he did back in the day, like maybe because that's the one thing I love about Green Arrow. He wasn't perfect. He was a cheating playboy. He was a fucking asshole. He was like Tony Stark.
Yeah.
And then he goes away and comes back, and now he's just this guy locked in with the mission. He's that guy that will help the little guy. He'll invest in homeless camps. He's very about the people.
Yeah.
And I think that relationship arc and her getting to know each other would be so cool. Live action and a couple kicking ass together. I want to see that.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah.
But for my number 1, now hear me out. This is a stretch. Now this is like dream, essentially.
Okay.
Is I would want a genuine sequel to Watchmen. So it's Zack Snyder coming back and aging up to be more now, like in
modern
2020
day.
or something like that. You know what I mean? And seeing how the world has progressed from that one, and like the world, how it's changed and where all the characters have fallen, and what's going on in that world. And I think him coming back to that, because that's my personal favorite movie from Zach. That movie's that the director's cut in particular, that is a fucking banger. And I think him coming to a world that he's very what's the word, like very like comfortable with, I think it would be do him justice, because I feel like in his latest work he's been more just always thinking ahead. And I think that something like this with Watchmen, where he knows the characters so well and understands them, I think he could do a proper sequel to it, and just seeing where the fucking world is now.
Yeah, dude, I would not be opposed to that.
That's the biggest far-fetched ever, but I would be so awesome. And now also I haven't watched the HBO, so I don't even know what happens in that. That might be that. I have no idea.
Like it could.
But I think that's super fucking cool.
Yeah. I mean, dude, we should give it a watch.
Yeah, I would be down to watch it.
I'm very curious to see what it is. Those are the writers of Game of Thrones, and they are writing the New Lantern series. So I think it would be interesting to check it out. My number 1 is it's kind of already a TV show, but it's a shitty idea of it. My idea is way better. Okay,
Okay.
it's Gotham Knights. I think a story set in Gotham post death of Batman is so interesting. Where does his who takes up the mantle? Where does it go? Like, I think doing that set in a world that's already so rich with heroes, like, because I just picture, like, Superman, Green Lantern, Flash in costume carrying the casket. Like, I think of such how emotional that could be for four boys who were adopted and raised by a man that maybe they might not have agreed with all the time, but they are thankful and grateful for, because God knows what could have happened to them.
Yeah.
And my roster would be very different because my Gotham Knights, I would take inspiration from Ninja Turtles, or have it be four brothers. So we have your Leonardo Nightwing, your Raphael Red Hood, your Michelangelo Tim Drake, and then your Donatello Damien. Even though those last two kind of are very different, I'll probably switch those around. But yeah, man, it's just I think there's a lot of potential there in that world. I mean, like, what if in this world Jason Todd never got to exact his revenge on Batman? He never went through with it, right? But now he's stuck in a place where he kind of has to mourn Bruce. He's hurt, and only way he can do that is kind of get closer to his brothers again. And I would have Batgirl still be in the wheelchair. She's Oracle. She got shot by the Joker. I just feel like there's such a rich way to tell a beautiful story there.
Yeah.
About brotherhood and family and overcoming trauma together, and not pushing people out of your life, but inviting them in.
Yeah.
You know.
Hey, you sold me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Warner Brothers, let's get this guy.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's a story I would love to tell. I think it's so easy to tell it as an Elseworlds too. You know. Yeah, man, that's my pitch. If I somehow got reins on something, that would probably be the one thing I would.
So that would be like from your list. That's hands down your number one.
Yeah, because I've thought about that idea for so long, and that's why I was really hyped about the Gotham Knights game. Because also, I just love Red Hood.
It did get better, apparently. It got better after some updates, but I don't know if it's fully recovered from the game, so that's something that I would be...
Yeah. And I would have the Gotham Knights storyline be the Battle for the Cowl story. Who's going to be Batman? And in that storyline, so many, like, people were coming out trying to be Batman or trying to take place of Batman, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
Gotham isn't awry without Batman, so we need a Batman, and I like that story.
Yeah. I think for me, my number one, if I had to, I know Watchmen was my number one, but that's so far-fetched. I know that's never going to happen. Yeah. It would definitely be the Thomas Wayne as Batman. That whole leading into Flashpoint, I think, would be so cool and so well done. If they could
done better than what Warner Brothers is
exactly. If you could just do it correctly, like like I said, I'd do it as a miniseries, 5-7 episodes, and take the Boys format. Shorten the episodes, very in-depth writing and character development, and then just have that bleed into Flashpoint.
Yeah, dude. There's a lot of things you can do with the Thomas Wayne Batman series.
And I would want it to be brutal.
I'm thinking of a lot right now, because, like, what if he just... You never see him without the bat suit off, but you always see him... The most you will see is him without the cowl. Because that's just taking over his life.
Yeah. So exactly. I agree.
I think that'd be so cool. Absolutely, dude.
Fuck yeah.
I mean...
Warner Brothers, get us.
That's what I'm saying, man. And I'm just surprised he's showing love to DC, honestly. Some sort of love.
I mean, as long as it's in the Batman universe, I'm totally down.
To be fair, though, there's a lot of Batman lore and Batman history.
Well, I mean, he has, like...
Probably the best rogues.
It's either him or Spider-Man. I mean, it's really just comes down to two superheroes that whether or not who has the best. I think probably Batman has the best all time with Joker. But then Spider-Man has the like really high quality, like from the from like Doc Ock and all those, just like the Rogues Gallery is just insane. Like you have the Sinister Six, like bro, come on.
Yeah, man. A proper Sinister Six Spider-Man movie would be great too.
But we kind of got that with Spider-Man, the PS4 though. That Sinister Six was fucking awesome.
Yeah, but I mean like a live action movie.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying that. To me, that Spider-Man for Spider-Man 4 is like the best interpretation of Spider-Man as Peter Parker. The best in my hands, without a doubt.
I don't blame you.
It's so good because it also adds that extra element of like you're the one playing the story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I love Tobey Maguire. Don't get me wrong, I love that. But in terms of just like you being there, PS4 Spider-Man is just hands down the best interpretation of Spider-Man.
Now, what suit do you like to play as in Spider-Man?
In Spider-Man 2, I actually like to play as the Amazing Spider-Man suit with that suit. That suit is so good. Yes. That suit is so fire.
That's my favorite Spider-Man suit.
Yeah, it's so fire.
Yeah.
Because I always kind of like a little hated it a little bit, but playing it in the game,
you're like, this feels like him.
yeah, it feels like him. And you listen to, the Spider-Man music, the soundtracks, it's like,
Soundtrack.
ooh, let's go. It sounds fun. I want to play it now.
That is definitely one of the best superhero games of all time.
Yeah, it's really good.
Falls into that category of art. It's crazy that some people hate it.
Which
Some
one?
people hate Spider-Man 2. The game.
I don't know how you could because, dude, Kraven the Hunter in that game is so, like, I'm like, I've never, like, really liked Kraven. But that interpretation of him is so good. His theme, it gave me chills. When he's first coming on the screen, like, he'll fuck you up.
Who do you think would be a good Kraven the Hunter?
He has to be jacked, for sure.
Okay.
I know we have a Kraven the Hunter movie coming out
Yeah.
at some point, but it looks so beyond mid. It just, I mean, the dude has to be jacked, for sure. And he has to be able to develop good facial hair.
Jason Momoa.
I think Jason Momoa, I don't know. I don't think that would work to me personally. He has to have like kind of like a hey, just ruining the line here. Our audience is getting restless with us. There's like 4 cats in here. I think all 4 are in
I
here.
think they all are in here. That's why.
Yeah.
That's probably why they're like, let me out.
But I don't even know what I was talking about. Oh, I think it'd have to be like an unlisted actor, to be honest. I really do. Just because, like,
you know who I'm starting to think now? The dude that's playing the lead in Gladiator 2.
This guy in Gladiator 2.
You don't think he kind of has the look for it?
I mean, yeah, but I don't even know who that actor is.
I mean, you're like, I just want to wait to see if he's any good.
Yeah, that's what I'm like.
Okay.
But the reason why I was saying it would have to be like kind of an unknown, just because I think Kraven the Hunter needs to be fucking beyond jacked. Like, he needs to be so strong in comparison to, because Spider-Man's already one of the most powerful characters. He has to be even stronger than that. You know what I mean? Like, so I think he just has to.
I think you're crazy. Kraven the Hunter looks amazing.
I mean, yeah, no. It looks so beyond mid. I think the brutality is going to be cool.
Look, brother, art is subjective.
It is very subjective, for
so,
sure.
What someone else might like, you might not like.
I just
You need to accept that.
yeah, you know what?
Like, Batman v Superman is a masterpiece, and you just won't.
What was that?
Batman v Superman, the Ultimate
Batman
Edition.
v Superman is a masterpiece. I don't think that word has ever been said by anyone ever.
Okay, it's maybe not a masterpiece. It has.
I was
its
gonna
faults.
you have to stand by your words. You just said it.
But I stand by the fact that it's a good movie. You're just a hater.
A good movie.
You're just a hater.
See, here's the big problem.
Richard, art is subjective.
It is subjective.
Yeah.
But if a movie's dog shit, a movie's dog shit.
Why are you dogging on me? I don't dog on you for liking Tenet. That
But you haven't
fucking
even watched
snooze
it.
fest.
You haven't even watched it though.
Because I
See,
fell
the thing is,
asleep.
I've watched Batman vs Superman.
You love
But you've
Snake
watched-
Eyes.
You've fallen asleep during so many things, so don't even get me started. Our review of Longlegs is almost discredited because you're like, hey, by the way, I fell asleep, guys.
I
But
fell
I
asleep
watched
for like
80% of the
10
movie.
minutes.
It was a little longer because he was kind of snoring, and I was like nudging, and he's like, and then there was a part where he's like stretching, and there's people behind us, and he's like has his hands in the air. He's just like stretching, and I bet the person behind him was just like, I want to.
Actually, there was no one behind me.
Yes, there was. There's 3 rows behind us. There's no way there wasn't.
There
someone
wasn't.
behind me. Yes, there was.
Because I looked behind me and there wasn't anyone.
No, there was someone behind you.
No, there wasn't.
They should have kicked your seat. They should have kicked your head. That would have been hilarious. Have you ever seen a fight break out in a movie theater?
No, I want to though.
That'd be kind of cool. I guess it would play the same way as like like when you see like a fan fight in like a UFC fight.
Dude,
or
like
an
don't.
NFL fight.
Yeah, don't.
Because it's like someone has the high.
And it has to be after an action movie to make make sure everyone's hyped up.
Yeah, everyone's like, "Fuck yeah, beat him, beat him, beat him."
It just turns into a fucking giant brawl.
Well, it's so dark in there. It'd be like, I don't know. I just imagine people falling over chairs. Like you falling over the rows.
Run on top of the seats and fucking.
Someone's getting like in a hyperextended leg. That's what I feel like. Yeah. Well, because like think of it, if you're on bottom, like if you're on top and you're on bottom,
And you're used to being on bottom, yeah.
you get an underhook and you pull them down, dude. Their legs are gonna get pinched between the chair and the chair that's the back of the chair, and their legs gonna get hyperextended. I can already see it playing out in a movie. Like just like
There should be a fight scene in a movie. I don't think there is one that I,
don't
can
think
think
so
of.
either.
Let's write that down. There was supposed to be a shooting in Gangster Squad where they kill people through the.
That's actually a super underrated. I forgot about that.
Gangster
movie.
Squad's a deep cut.
That's a good ass movie.
That
I
is a
forgot
great
about
movie,
that.
dude. I really
Who's
like
even
that movie.
in that?
Josh Brolin,
Yeah,
Ryan
yeah.
Gosling, Michael Pena,
Woo, that's a lineup.
Emma Stone, Sean Penn. Shut up.
I'm gonna have to take that from his library.
Yeah, dude.
That's a good ass movie.
You don't have the movie?
I feel like I did, but I feel like it was on DVD, and I turned in a lot of my DVDs. I'm a Blu-ray.
I have it on Blu-ray.
I know you do. That's why I'm like I'm gonna have to take it.
I don't
from
think
this
it's
lineup.
there though. I think it's in my. I have a Blu-ray book, and then I have that. So I still have a couple movies in my Blu-ray book. That I
Yeah,
don't
that's
want.
actually super underrated. I completely
see.
forgot about that.
Yeah, dude, I love the soundtrack, and the trailer got me hooked.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly.
Well, because I remember thinking, because like wasn't it loosely based off a true.
Very loose.
Like I mean, like there was
they
like
took a lot of creative.
No, I know.
liberties.
Jesus God.
Hold on, they're fighting.
Our
They're not
audience
about-
is getting so restless.
They're getting restless.
Almost just yanked everything off.
I know. They're fighting. Yo, you guys need to chill.
All of them.
Go.
How many were in here? 3 or 4?
No, it's just one.
They were really all in here. Oh my God.
Only 3.
Oh,
Sativa was out there.
My heart just my life flashed before my eyes. I was like, bro, this is gonna go flying.
Ugh. Fuck. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We were just talking about
Gangster Squad.
Gangster Squad.
And how it's
being
loosely
subjective.
based off of an actual thing. Like I'm pretty sure it was just there was a squad literally called Gangster Squad. I think that's all it was.
Yeah.
And then
essentially.
after that, they're like, yeah, let's fucking balls to the wall. How crazy can we make this? Essentially.
And they made it pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was,
honestly.
it was pretty fun. It was awesome.
Yeah, because I think Josh Brolin's real life person, he actually had a daughter instead of a son, and I don't know if their place got shot up like that. From my understanding, I don't believe it did. I don't know. It's still a good movie though. I know a lot of people didn't like it.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh.
I mean,
I remember fucking loving it.
score like Rotten Tomatoes doesn't matter, but it has like a 49%. But I'm just like, this was fun though. It was like a
Yeah.
fun gangster movie. I really liked it.
Well, I mean, I think it goes back to like art being subjective,
Yeah.
and I feel like sometimes people can't differentiate, like just kind of turning your brain off and liking something for what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Not everything has to have such a deep meaning, and yeah, because like some people don't like the Joker movie. Some people are like, that movie is just so full of itself, and I'm like, even if it is,
I really
nothing
don't
wrong
think
with
so.
that.
It is though. I really don't think it is. I think it's just like a unique take on mental health.
I agree with that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Showing the reality. Because like I don't know what it's like to be in your brain. You don't know what it's like to be in my brain. And that's why I'm like, I can even understand to be in someone's brain that's like schizophrenic or something. You know, like that's literally a different world. And I feel like sometimes, like it's with Joker especially, so people don't take that into account. Now obviously it's based off a character, or, you know, a comic book
It's a
character.
loose interpretation for sure.
Yeah, but just that whole
Still
mental,
keeps its core beliefs.
yeah,
though.
that whole mental health area of that movie is, I feel like, what people don't take into account.
Yeah, man, and that also goes back to like people just not being okay with people liking things that they don't. And I'm like, dude, it's okay. Like, it's okay I like Batman v Superman and you don't.
But
See,
Batman v
there you
Superman
go.
is genuinely not a good movie, though.
Okay.
Here's the thing.
I'm gonna make you watch. Hold on.
This is what it comes back to. Hold on. He was like,
I'm
you need to
gonna
watch the
make-
ultimate cut.
I'm
You need to
gonna
watch the
make you
ultimate cut,
watch
and literally all it was.
I'm gonna make you
was
watch
like,
Fan Four Stick.
All it was literally like them taking a bath together. That was like added. Him walking around in some glasses. It's
Okay,
like, bro,
first of
come
all, you
on.
should have seen his reaction when he saw shirtless Henry Cavill going into a bath. He was like, I'm down.
I got my fix for Man of Steel. So when he came out of the ocean, that's it right there for me.
I mean, I don't blame you. That man was jacked.
Yeah, he was fucking jacked.
He's my choice to play Wolverine.
You know, I actually like if they were ever to do a new casting, other than like it'd be either Tom Hardy, or it would. I love Tom Hardy. It would either be Tom Hardy or the guy that played in The Kingsman. What's his name?
Taron Egerton.
I think he'd be good.
Nah, make him Red Hood.
He'd be good as Red Hood too. Yeah,
Yeah.
both can be true.
Yeah, this is true.
So I think it'd be dope.
Tom Hardy is Batman.
Tom Hardy is Batman. I don't know if he has a chin for it though.
I think he does.
Think he does?
I think he does.
I feel like you gotta kind of have a chiseled chin.
That's a good point.
I really like Robin Pattinson as Batman.
Jensen Ackles is Batman.
Okay.
I've been glazing that podcast.
Yeah.
Forever.
I'm not opposed to it though. I'm really not.
You know.
But I mean, yeah, it could definitely work, and I think it'd be, you know, he'd really show his acting skills.
Yeah, I feel like after doing a really good job with Soldier Boy,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I think giving him a cool role like that, because he was going to be Hawkeye in the Avengers.
Oh,
But
so his co-star with, and what's the show?
Supernatural.
Supernatural. What did he go on to do?
He was on his own show, Walker. It was like the remake of Texas Walker Ranger. That was doing pretty good. It just got canceled.
Did you watch it?
My mom loves it.
Really?
Yeah, she's like, oh my god. You know? And when I told her that it got canceled, she was so mad. But I mean, it'd be cool to see him to do other things. I like Jared Padalecki. I think he's a really underrated actor too, and I think that it'd be really cool to see him in a cool role. Have him flex his chops a bit more too, and maybe have him be like an anti-hero or a bad guy. I think he's really good at that, because there's a couple seasons in Supernatural where he played the villain. You know, and you still haven't seen Supernatural.
My experience with Supernatural is always like before school, when it was ever like AT&T or whatever
TNT.
network, whatever network it was on. It was just some random episode, and almost all the time they were fire. Like I remember being like getting ready to be like, what the fuck is over here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
this is cool.
That's a show where
I always loved how they drove it around in a muscle car.
Yeah, that car is iconic. I love that car. It made me want to that car. Honestly, that's how much I love the show. It's a great show.
But how many seasons is there? Is there 10?
18.
Oh my
18.
god!
And honestly, the first 5 seasons are like peak Supernatural, because the first 2 seasons might feel disjointed, but then it comes around full circle in like 4 and 5.
What service is this on? Is it on anything?
It's on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's on.
I might give it a
Netflix.
try. It's just 18 seasons seems like a lot. It's like if
It
someone's like,
is.
"Oh, I love Dragon Ball Z. You need to watch Dragon Ball Z." Dude, there's so much you need to watch. I need to look up a guide on what I need to watch and what are most important episodes. I'm like, I'm just so disinterested now.
Yeah, man, I completely get that.
So,
because I don't know, man. I think you should give it a shot. I think you'd like it. It's the same showrunner as The Boys.
okay.
But he left after season 5, so it's kind of like that thing with Dexter too, where like the first 5 seasons are peak,
Okay.
and then
So I'll watch the first 5 seasons and just call it quits.
you could honestly, you really could, and you'd be okay. I think you'd be happy with the way it ended, because I didn't like the Supernatural series ending at all.
Really?
I thought it was really redundant, and even the actors were like, kind of like, I get it if you don't like it, and I get it if you do, you know, but very unsatisfactory in all honesty, and it kind of makes me sad that I wish they just ended it with season 5. I think Supernatural would be so much bigger. I think it'd probably have a bunch of more spin-offs by now too.
When did it actually end?
2020.
Oh wow, it was that went on. Wow,
Dude, it started from 2005.
use your nails. Our number 1 fan is back.
Okay. She's like,
This is
Let me in.
Callie, ladies and gentlemen. She's the most lovable cat he owns.
say something.
Yeah, you were just talking.
Imagine she's just like, something.
Something.
I'd be like, Man, I do have a segment I want to get to though, called hear me out. And this is me not defending, but this is just hear me out, okay? This is all it is. Hear me out. This is in vein of Gladiator 2, which I didn't think needed a sequel, but the trailer completely changed my mind. And I thought that I'd give it a shot to pitch my own requel, you know? It's very Scarface inspired. I've been thinking about this because a remake is inevitable. It is inevitable for any big iconic movie. Just wait until they remake Rocky. Just wait until they remake Taxi Driver. I mean, kind of is already Joker, to be honest. But this has been happening since the dawn of cinema. This has happened with The Mummy. You know, the Mummy that we grew up with in the 90s is a remake of that old black and white film.
Yep.
You know? So, with that being said, I don't think remakes and reboots are a bad thing. It's just about how you make them. The reason why The Mummy was so popular is because they're like, okay, we're going to keep the horror, but we're going to make it an action movie. We're going to make it a swashbuckling adventure. They added their own twist to it. They added their own twist to it. And... You good?
Yeah, I'm fine. I was petting her too. I was like, couldn't keep calm, and she's just like, yeet. I'm like, oh, thanks, Callie. Thanks.
Yeah. But back to what I was saying. Reboots and remakes aren't a bad thing. Just embrace what made the first film iconic and what was so loved and adored about it, but do your own thing. And that's where I think a Scarface remake can be actually really good. If you do it properly. And what I'm thinking is you make Scarface a sequel to the original. You make Tony Montana this fictitious, not fictitious, but in this world, he was this real life gangster that thrived and inevitably becomes almost like an idol to a lot of the modern gangsters. And I think taking that idea would be so important in that movie, being like, we acknowledge how iconic this movie is, but this is something new, but we're paying homage to it, right? And I think we all know Tony is kind of a very Hispanic name.
Yeah.
Right? So you can go Cuban, you can go Puerto Rican, you can go Mexican, but you have these people, and it's almost like an allegory on how people already kind of idolize Tony Montana to this day as a fictional character. So you can put that into a real world. Like, all these people want the American dream, the dream that Tony Montana got and inevitably died because of. I think there's something to be said about history repeating itself again because we don't learn from our mistakes. I think that's where this remake can shine. I think that's what you have to do in order for it to be successful. Because if you just remake it and you make this is a guy named Tony Montana from Mexico, which is probably what they're going to do, then you kind of lose a little bit of... You don't lose a little bit. You lose a lot of the fans.
Yeah.
This movie is beloved and iconic. If you do it in a way that is respectful, I guarantee you people are going to love this new iteration. You know?
You sold me, bro.
You sold me. Like, what do you think about that?
I think it's awesome. Did you ever play the Scarface game?
I did, actually.
The Scarface game is kind of a little similar. It's obviously you play as Tony Montana as it is, but in this alternate universe, essentially, in the game, you turn around and you kill the guy. But you do start back from scratch. And again, I guess a lot of the same premise would apply to this movie.
Yeah.
You know, obviously that one is you're playing as the same character, but you're building up an empire and you're taking over Miami. But my question would be, when would you set it? What would be the time period? How much of a time jump would there actually be? I
think it'd be a significant time jump. I would have it be present day, and I would have it be like Tony Montana was like John Gotti. He was this character that is so prevalent even in pop culture history. There's T-shirts of this guy. You know what I'm saying? Which is very important to like what people feel about him now as a fictitious character. So that would be my go about. I would also kind of have his sister be in it minorly. Like, maybe she moved away from Miami and in a way kind of found another version of Tony, and she's reminded of this man craving power. Maybe she really liked him at first as like a young man, you know, who was in her neighborhood or something. Yeah. I just think there's so much there untapped potential that you could do that honors Scarface, but does its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Does he end up in a puddle of his blood, by the end of the movie, or does he end up alone? I would actually have it end very akin to like Godfather 2. Spoiler alert! I don't even know if you're gonna watch it, but like.
But which one's the good one?
The first one.
So I don't need to watch the second one.
You don't need to watch the second one. But basically, like he had to kill his brother. He's all alone. A good majority of his family's dead, and he's kind of just sitting down at the dinner table, smoking a cigarette, and just that's the price of being in that life. If you don't live, you end up if you don't die, you end up alone, inevitably waiting for your demise. When it's only a matter of when. Yeah. And if you end the film like that, you kind of just give the audience like, damn, dude. You don't want to glorify this lifestyle, but you want to show the real depiction of it. It's a lonely life. Yeah. The people you love around you can die, and you'll be left with nothing. Then what's all that money for? So that's the way I would tackle it. That's my pitch.
Yeah, I'm all in for it. I think that's super fucking badass. One thing that made me think of this is, so have you ever played Grand Theft Auto Vice City?
Like, just driving around killing people.
Yeah, but it's kind of Scarface-esque. Like, it's very in that same area. It's very inspired by that. That game now, right? It was released in like in 2007, I think.
Okay.
So that time jump from 84 to 2007, that was 16 years. That's the same time jump as if we made a movie depiction of 2004. Think about how much of a how distinct the 80s were. What that culture essentially looked like. You know what the culture of the 90s looked like. But the culture of from the 2000s to the 2010s is very much like jeans and you know what I mean, like punk rock. I think it's just super interesting because from like 2010 to now, there hasn't really been too much of a change. Yeah. And I think it's so interesting that in like the 80s was such a vastly different thing to just even what it was in like 2007.
Well, I also think one of the most important things is to remember that anybody that is going to play the new Tony Montana, and I wouldn't outright call him Tony Montana, but I would still have him keep the name Tony as like.
Would you have him be like a descendant?
I thought about that, but then I said no. Because I like the idea of it inspiring someone else. Because I like the idea of his bloodline just completely dying out. Because that's that's more realistic. Yeah. And maybe the only one left of the Montana lineage is his sister. And she has to relive seeing a modern day retelling of her brother's story. And I think there's something to be said. I think we also have to remember he'd also still be an immigrant who came from poor, saw the lavish lifestyle, and said, I want that. So I think there's so much you can do. And like I said, a lot of untapped potential. You just have to go about it the right way. And that's how you can make a proper remake or a proper requel. That's how you do it.
I'm in agreement, bro.
Like the Nightmare on Elm Street is another one that needs something bad.
Would you, if you did a Nightmare on Elm Street, would you make it modern or would you make it again like a period piece essentially?
Oh Jesus!
I think she saw something. Yeah, there's like something flying around, terrifying us today.
Yeah. I would probably have flashbacks to back in the day.
Okay.
And then I would have.
So you do like jump from the past to the present to the present to the past.
Yeah, I would want flashbacks to when they're kids, but it would be their parents' flashbacks. I would actually have
so it'd be like it too.
Yes, but okay. I wouldn't make the teens the primary focus. Maybe the secondary focus. I'd have the parents. I think there's a really good horror movie of parents trying to save their kids, but nothing they can really do about it, and their past coming back to haunt them. I think that's a really good basis for a Nightmare on Elm Street requel, I guess, or just a flat out reboot. Because then I would have a sequel just be the teens.
The reboot that I want.
We've done it all with the teens.
The reboot I want is Jason versus Freddy again.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
I just want balls to the wall superhero action, but with blood and mayhem.
God, it's so nice. Because they were gonna make a sequel. And
I did hear about that.
Do you know what the sequel was?
No, I don't.
The sequel was Freddy versus Jason versus Ash. My boy Ash Williams was gonna be in it.
Evil Dead?
Yeah. And it was gonna be that.
How does that get greenlit?
Yeah, dude, it was gonna be that Freddy got a hold of the Book of the Dead and he's using that. And yeah, dude, the second. I mean, some of it's fucking weird. Yeah. That script is very 2000s of that time. It's fucking weird because Ash does come off weird. It wasn't a good script, and the comic is interesting because just based off the premise, but. You know,
so there's a comic of this.
Yeah, there's that, and then there's a sequel to that, Freddy versus Jason versus Ash 2, where like Freddy basically takes over the entire world with the Book of the Dead.
That sounds awesome, actually.
Yeah, dude. I mean, some of the action sequences are pretty cool.
Huh?
I just think with a huge rewrite, it'd be a really good movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Freddy versus Jason isn't a good movie though.
No, it's not. It's just nostalgic.
Fun. It's fun and
nostalgic for it. It's just a fun movie, and I would be interested. I haven't watched it in fucking years, like a very long time. So I would be very interested to go back and watch it and see just like how bad it really is.
You should, and you'll be like, dude, this movie's bad. It's bad. We forget that this is a line where Freddy tells a black girl, "Hey, how sweet, dark meat," and you're just like. Damn, bro. Okay. Yeah. That's where we're going. You know? Yeah. And then there is one kind of cool scene, though, where, like, Jason kills someone who is about to essay someone.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
So,
it's in the cornfield, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that part.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he still killed the poor girl anyway. You know?
She's like, oh, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, she was asleep. No, she was asleep, and that's why she got killed there too. That's what I meant. Yeah,
you're jogging my memory now because she was in Freddy's dream, right?
Yeah. And then when he killed her, she fucking disappeared from his dream and shit.
Yeah,
I think that's the best Freddy vs. Jason movie we could have gotten at that time.
I agree.
To be honest,
the movies in the 2000s, unless it was like a comedy, were not the best.
Dude, even the comedy from back in the day is crazy. I was getting my hair cut, and they put on Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo. Have you ever seen that movie?
No, I have not.
It's Rob Schneider where he plays a prostitute.
Okay.
A male prostitute. And some of the shit he does is so cringe, bro. There's a bit because he goes to this aquarium to get fish and shit, and there's like this hot girl he constantly badgers to try and get her to get out with him and to go out with him, and she won't. And he's coming off creepy too. And then he'll be like, okay, well, can I get some sea snails then? And it's this big tub, and she's wearing a white t-shirt. She has to reach all the way down, and her boobs get wet, so she comes back up, and she's like nipping. And he just gets her to do that each time just so he can see her boobs. And I'm like...
Didn't age well?
Did not age well, bro. It did not age well.
Yeah.
Especially since that gal was on she's on Grimm, and I know her from that show, so I'm like, this is so weird seeing you like this when you were young doing any role you could.
Yeah.
Oh man. But that's pretty much it. I think that's all we have today.
That's a good place to end the episode. If you guys are new here, consider subscribing. We'd greatly, greatly appreciate it.
Toodles.
We post every week.
That too.
Yeah. Peace.